Right. So the chapter is moles that we need to do, right? We need to do moles chapter, but moles जानने से पहले, first of all, you need to know what is atomic mass. Atomic mass क्या होना चाहिए और क्या होता है? You need to talk about this. So atomic mass is actually the mass of a single atom, right? एक atom का जो mass होता है वो atomic mass होता है. अगर आप simply इसको periodic table के through देखते हो, periodic table में for suppose अगर लिखा हुआ है sodium 1123. तो इस स्ट्रक्चर में अगर आप देखें तो व्हाट इज एटॉमिक मास, द कैपिटल वैल्यू इज एटॉमिक मास, राइट? सो इस स्ट्रक्चर में, इस डायग्राम में जो कैपिटल वैल्यू है, इट इज एक्चुअली एटॉमिक मास. दिस इज एक्चुअली व्हाट? एटॉमिक मास, राइट? इसको हम बोलते हैं एटॉमिक मास. ठीक है भाई. अगर वैसे आप डेफिनेशन जानना चाहें व्हाट इज रिलेटिव एटॉमिक मास, एक चीज होती है रिलेटिव एटॉमिक मास. सो दिस इज एक्चुअली द मास ऑफ एन एटम which is compared with the mass of an atom of carbon 12. Carbon 12, ठीक है ना?
सर सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, लेकिन आपकी स्क्रीन स्टक हो गई है.
स्क्रीन स्टक हो गई है, देखें हट गई अब.
जी
चलें दोबारा से शेयर कर देते हैं इसको. दैट्स नॉट अ बिग डील. ओके, थैंक यू. अच्छा, मेरे पास मैसेज भी आया हसन का. हसन, थैंक यू. यस बच्चों, आ रही है, आप देखें. Okay, so what we are talking about right now, atomic mass. Atomic mass क्या होता है? अगर आप periodic table देखते हैं, the capital value with every element is actually atomic mass. और relative atomic mass actually होता क्या है? How can we identify this? हमने निकाला कैसे इसको? Blah blah blah. It is actually the mass of an atom compared with the mass of an atom of carbon 12. किसी भी atom का जो mass निकाला है वो carbon 12 के mass से compare करके निकाला गया है. So you can say this definition as well. But the thing what we are going towards is molecular mass, which is the most important thing to start moles. Molecular mass is actually the sum of all atomic masses. This is the sum of all atomic masses. This is the sum of all atomic masses, right? जो atom molecule में मौजूद है उसका atomic mass sum करेंगे, it will give you molecular mass, right? Sum of all atomic masses of atoms present in a molecule. Of atoms present in a molecule, right? So for suppose बच्चों, I have a molecule of carbon dioxide gas. So I have actually one carbon and I actually have two oxygens, right? So that this two, you need to keep remember the first rule is this two should be only with oxygen. So it is actually into two. And the next thing that you need to keep remember is whenever the element changes, you must need to write plus between two elements. Then you can put atomic masses. Carbon का 12 होता है, oxygen का 16 होता है. So it will give you 32 plus 12, 44 atomic mass. Is that right, बच्चों?
yes sir.
For suppose if you talk about sulfuric acid, so you can see this. How many elements we have? 1, 2, 3. So you can put hydrogen plus sulfur plus oxygen. These three different elements we have, right? And then oxygens are 4, so it should be O into 4, and hydrogen are 2, so it should be into 2. Then we can put what atomic masses? Hydrogen is 1 into 2, sulfur is actually 32, and oxygen is 16 into 4. So it will be 64, 32 plus 2 will give you 98. Is that clear, बच्चों? ये दो techniques clear है?
yes sir.
Okay, so we have a skill test then, right? अच्छा, आप में से अगर किसी के पास मेरे set of notes मौजूद हैं तो उसके अंदर ये skill test मौजूद होंगे, आप वहां से देख सकते हैं. उसी में करिएगा आप लोग, ठीक है? जिसके पास ये हैं वो उसी में solve करे. So we have a lot of gases over here जिसका आप atomic molecular mass निकाल सकते हो. तो जल्दी से आप जरा मुझे निकाल के दिखाओ. NO2 का, ये HNO3 का भी निकाल के दिखाएं. It's not gas. कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड का, और सल्फर ट्राइऑक्साइड का, नाइट्रस ऑक्साइड का, फॉस्फोरिक एसिड का, NaOH का, कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट का, सोडियम फॉस्फेट का, एंड लास्टली बट नॉट लीस्ट वाटर का. जल्दी से इन सब के आप क्या निकालें बच्चों? आप जल्दी से इन सब के निकाल लीजिए मॉलिक्यूलर मासेस, और जल्दी से मुझे इसको सेंड कर दीजिए मेरे नंबर पर ताकि मैं चेक कर सकूं कि आपको ये चीज आती है. So this is one of the basic thing to find out molecular masses कि आपके पास जब भी element change होगा, so you need to put plus over there between two elements, and then जो भी नीचे number लिखा हुआ है वो सिर्फ उसी element के साथ है. Just like अगर ये 4 लिखा हुआ है तो this is only with oxygen, right? और अगर ये 2 लिखा हुआ है तो this is only with hydrogen, right? We have one more rule over here. For suppose आपके पास कुछ इस तरह का compound लिखा हुआ है, calcium hydroxide, right? If you have like this, so you need to keep remember that element change होंगे तो plus लिखना पड़ेगा आपको. जैसे calcium है, you need to write plus over here. Then calcium के बाद oxygen आ रहा है, so you need to write plus over here. And if the two elements are inside the bracket, so you can solve them inside the bracket as well. So oxygen और hydrogen के बीच में भी plus आएगा because the element is changing. And this 2 is now with whole bracket. So you need to multiply this 2 with the whole bracket. So it will be calcium is 40 and oxygen is 16 and hydrogen is 1, and then into 2. 17 into 2 it will be 34 plus 40 will give you 74 molecular mass, right? This is the next thing that you need to learn. The first thing is what I told you, that the element is changing, so you need to use the plus over there. So this is the first thing to remember. And if you talk about the second thing, so I told you the number with the element should be multiplied with only that element जिसके साथ वो लिखा हुआ है. So this is the second thing you need to keep remember. And the third thing is if the 2 is outside the bracket or any number outside the bracket, so it should be multiplied with the whole bracket. This is the third thing to remember. And the fourth thing that you need to keep remember is just like, for suppose you have copper sulfate dot 5H2O. So the fourth thing that you need to keep remember is this dot. This dot means plus. This is the fourth thing you need to keep remember. And then you can see this 5. This 5 is with the whole molecule, right? So if the number is written before the molecule, तो उसका मतलब ये होता है कि वो पूरे molecule से multiply हो. This is the fifth thing to remember. So how can we find out the molecular mass of this molecule? The copper 64, element changes plus, sulfur 32, element changes plus, oxygen is 16 and the number is 4 with the oxygen only, so into 4, right? Then dot is plus, so I can put plus over there. And then 5 is with the whole molecule. The 5 is with the whole molecule, so 5, and in the bracket hydrogen is 1 into 2, element changes plus, oxygen is 16. So it will be 64 plus 32 plus 64 plus 5 into 18. So it will give you 90 and it will give you 160. So the overall answer is 250. So these are the things that you need to keep remember for the molecular masses. ये सारी चीजें वो हो गई हैं जो आपको molecular mass help out करेंगी निकालने के लिए. So let's talk about some more examples. So this is skill test 1B, this is 1A, and now this is 1B, right? इसमें आपने क्या करना है? You need to find out the molecular masses of the following compounds I am giving you over here. For suppose you have ammonium 2 carbonate. Like if you have ammonium phosphate, same as it is if you have like ammonium sulfate, you have for suppose calcium nitrate. For suppose you have this molecule ammonium sulfate dot potassium sulfate dot 24 H2O. For suppose you have magnesium sulfate dot 7 H2O. For suppose you have copper, then CH3 CO2 2, right? And copper hydroxide, and then plus 5H2O. Right, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you have iron sulfate, you have this is iron 2 sulfate and this is iron 3 sulfate, and then barium phosphate. चलें, अब आपने इन सारे मॉलिक्यूल्स का निकालना है मॉलिक्यूलर मास। जल्दी से स्टार्ट कीजिए और होपफुली आपको ये सारे रूल्स समझ में आ गए होंगे। इन सारे रूल्स को यूज करते हुए इन सब का भी मॉलिक्यूलर मास निकाल लीजिए। लेट्स स्टार्ट।